If you guys don't remember, this is my turbo 5-cylinder swapped 944. We set it up for stage rally and it's been sitting around unused. So on this episode, we're finally gonna get around to bring it to its first stage rally, the Sandblast Rally in South Carolina.
Right. Like we lost an axle already.
Rally's always been interesting. It's kind of like the more extreme end of a lot of motorsports because there's so much risk involved, and it just has always been somewhat appealing. Just being an 80s car guy, like all the Group B era is like the holy grail of a lot of those cars. So always been interested in rally. Years ago, I built an E30 just kind of as a dirt road thrash car, and then me and a buddy started taking it to rallycross events. We did really well, and then like, boy, this is pretty fun. I would like to try stage rally. So that's kind of what slowly evolved into this car.
So, what got you into co-driving for Mike?
I think it was kind of a matter of circumstance. I'm probably his only local friend that has all the necessary equipment gear to run a stage rally. So driver's suit, Hans device, helmet, that all the stuff's pretty expensive, and unless you're competing in some kind of series somewhere else, you probably don't have that stuff. I had that, we drive together a lot, and that's probably about it.
This is me giving him a heads up.
Just help me, that's what it means.
Help or you're gonna be mad about it.
What's the excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
Not super excited. I mean, once we get through tech, I'll be really excited. Right now, it's just like going through the list of all the things we have to do.
Yeah, making sure I know how to distance.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out the
GPS
trip thing I bought. I bought the thing. Doesn't mean
Oh,
we know how
you
to use
bought
it.
the trip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put in the instructions at work. So otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't even know how to turn it off at this point.
Classic
Yeah.
race car weekend.
Yeah, the car's mostly ready to go. We have some tech we got to figure out how to use.
Hopefully we get there.
I've been shaking down the car to my house and back for like the last week and a half or so. So like, I'm pretty comfortable with that.
That's good, that's good.
The weeks ahead of time, I kind of just was going through all the car prep stuff, reading through the rules again, because the car sat for a little bit while I was building the X5, and I wanted to make sure all the things that needed to be addressed were addressed. So there's just a couple little odds and ends I had to wrap up. Made sure I checked all those off, and we were pretty good to go. I've been through tech processes for other forms of racing, and it's usually pretty low key. I knew rally was gonna be a lot more strict, but I had gone through the rule book, building the car, and then making sure to prep for the event. I'd gone through all the rules pretty closely, so I knew I had all the heavy hitters out of the way, and anything else was gonna be a small ticket item that was easy to address.
How'd tech go?
Second one really good. They like the car. Other than I forgot the cotter pins through the latches of my sub harness there. I did them on the side ones, and I don't know, I spaced out on those. So I have some. We're throwing them in now. And it's gonna kind of suck, which is probably why I didn't do it.
Friday morning was the day that I said, hey, we should, probably make sure this odometer works and stuff, and just take a ride. In the transit notes, they give you a calibration route that you can do the day before, and basically make sure your odometer is calibrated to what their notes say. So maybe we're talking hundredths of a mile. So we went to go try it out. We're like, oh, this is pretty far off. Well, okay, we'll drive 1 point something miles and see what it says. All right, that didn't really work out because it was saying like 13 miles.
We're trying to figure out the Terra-Trip thing I put in there. I fed it the signal from the cluster, and we have to calibrate it, but it seems like the signal is kind of like all over the place. So
there's this potentiometer, and I said, okay, well, it turns from like 7 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That's the whole range. It was at 12, so we tried 9 o'clock. That read nothing. So then we turned to 3 o'clock, and it read great.
it works way better. So now we're gonna look up the manual and see what that knob's supposed to do, because we probably should have done that first, but we're excited and tried it, and it's basically, we're within 0.03 on that last kind of almost 2 mile trip, so moving in the right direction.
The job was more than what I expected. I thought it would just be, between stages, you just have like a address or something. You could plug in GPS coordinates or something and go from one to the other. Time wouldn't matter, whatever. But it turns out they give you a second book, which is this. And this second book is the bits between stages. So not only do you have stage notes, but you also have notes that where you start and directions to each stage. And you have to be there within what they call your minute. They give you a scheduled transit time and a start time. Essentially, it's more than you would need to really get there on time, just because, you know, it's kind of like a scheduling gray area. They're, you know, say give everyone extra time to get there. They won't speed. Follow these directions, get there within your minute, otherwise you get penalized. So you have to get to the start line at your minute exactly. Then they log a start time and they say whether or not you got there on time. So that penalizes people that get there too early or broke and have to fix something, get there too late. My job isn't just to read notes and to navigate the course. It is to navigate between, make sure we're on time, make sure the odometer reading is correct, make sure that, you know, as we're going through the notes, if they have two stages that are on the same road, they'll go from stage number 6 to stage number 8. So I put notes in here to say, hey, when you turn to the page, you're not on 7, you're on 8. So you need to go back to the other page, and it's not as straightforward as people think. My primary goal is like making sure that we don't die.
How are you feeling, Mike?
Good. Tonight's gonna be in the rain, and that'll be interesting. But I don't know. I think we're about as ready as we're ever gonna be. Seems like we have all of our ducks in a row.
I think they're gonna do a real good job.
I'm really good at downplaying these type of things too, just like set my expectations really low. Like I'm just trying to get to the end. That's a deal.
Yeah.
But like realistically, I feel pretty comfortable in the car. I feel like we'll be okay.
How many people are in your class? Do you know, like the total amateur class count or whatever?
No, well we're in two-wheel drive heavy,
Okay.
so they just break it down by car. So.
Well, I knew it was like they were really sort of a shakedown or practice stage is how they lay it out for those events. So there's more just to make sure you get your bearings, you're ready for the next day, that type of thing. So it's pretty low pressure. But sitting there talking to everybody with it downpouring and having never done it and doing it in the dark, they're like, oh, this is gonna be a very tough first experience for you just because of the rain, the visibility, like the track is gonna be, or the course is gonna be pretty sloppy. And then on top of that, the Sandblast Rally has like 3 different types of clay. So you go from wet sand, which is pretty grippy, and then once it gets rutted, it's not so nice to deal with. And then there's different types of clay that all react differently to water. And at night, they all look about the same. So some areas you come into, it's like ice, and then other areas that are grippier than you expect.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. Get our left 4. Opens over bumps, 70. Holy the left 6 right there.
This is the left six?
Yes, I believe so. And right 6. Or this is the left 6. I don't know. It was bad. My first stage ever was in the dark with fogged up windows. So the notes are wet, we're hot, in our suits with my Hans device, which is like, it's limiting. It doesn't let you turn your head all the way. You can't see out the window. You can't see because his lights weren't aimed right. Caution, turn left 4, slow down. Pretty much the absolute worst condition you could probably ever do your first stage rally in. That was a little overwhelming. It was a matter of basically just like, get through it, don't die. Yeah, not good. Oh, careful, careful. Left 6, 180, easy.
This is my first Kevin easy.
Okay. That was the caution.
That was the caution. Oh yeah, it's a different water.
Oh my God, okay. Wow. All right. Right 5. Right 6 over. Small crest 120 to stop. Did it.
We did it. Hell yeah, bud.
I am so stressed out right now.
A little bit of relief because we had just done it. The car worked, we didn't break anything. You know, we made it through relatively unscathed despite a whole bunch of teething issues, really. You know, the defrost thing kind of threw us for a loop. We weren't comfortable right off the bat. We should have just driven around town with Hans devices and helmets and everything on to get the feel of that. But we had never done that before. I later figured out just once we're on the road, unhooking the Hans device so you can turn your head and look out the window is very important.
I wasn't really thinking about it until we got back to the trailer and, you know, said we're done. So I was happy we got through the whole thing.
That and like the second stage, they shortened because there was some flooding at the initial start portion of the stage. That cuts off the first mile of the stage, which means you have to start a mile into the notes. And we didn't think about any of that. So as soon as you take off, he's like, Kevin's reading notes to me like, why aren't these lining up? Where are we? Are we reading the right notes? So we're just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to drive by eye. We pieced it together about halfway through the stage, like, oh, we started partway down it. No wonder the corners don't make sense. And the odometer is not gonna line up, of course. Kind of a bunch of those little learning experiences. That was about it. And a well-earned beer at the end of the night was
Yeah.
just
That was needed.
that was needed once we got back to the trailer in the rain.
Congrats on completing your guys' first stage.
We did it. Somehow. Not
Somehow.
everyone did.
Very few, not few, but there was a lot of cars stuck. So
We passed 4.
4?
4 stuck.
yeah, at least.
Sweet. What'd you think?
That was very rough. There's a lot of ruts. Being second to last car, really.
It's probably the
It's
worst conditions you could ever do your first rally in.
Oh yeah,
At night, windows fogging up, in the rain, just
Headlights not aimed well because I didn't think of that, and then like I had my heat cable isn't hooked up, and I thought it was on heat. It wasn't. So the first stage, almost the first transit stage, we had no real defrost. And I was like, why isn't it working?
How'd the car feel power wise, putting it down, traction, all that?
Plenty of power, yeah. I mean, it's slippery, so you hit like some wild clay spots, and then it's just like you're on ice. There's nothing you can do. You're just kind of like sawing at the wheel, like he's looking at ditches and just kind of powering through, trying to get it out of there. And
Are you trying to, your inner drifter where it's like, okay, power out. I want to hit the brakes, but I have to power out of this.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to hit that curb or berm or whatever.
For sure, yeah. There's definitely a bunch of that. It's like we need forward bite, not just sliding sideways.
Scared you're gonna run at an angle a couple times.
It's got rack spacers on it.
Okay.
Day 2, how are you feeling, Mike?
Good. Just, peeking under the car, making sure all the stuff's where it's supposed to be. I was just pretty excited to get going. Like, I felt a lot more comfortable after we had figured everything out with low visibility and everything at night. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be daytime, it's gonna be drier, this is gonna be great. Like, I'm starting to feel comfortable with it. Just headed over there, tried to get everything laid out, all the stuff we'd need for the car throughout service, because realistically, another thing we didn't piece together yet is you kind of need to have a crew. Every other version of motorsports I've done, like any drifting or other thing, like if you're not in a competition setting, you can get it by with no crew. You can do it mostly by yourself. This isn't laid out to be so friendly to that.
So, day 2, how are you feeling?
Fine. I figured out the how to adjust the trip odometer, so if we are off at all, I should be able to make that fix. But I talked to another guy to see if he knew how to do it, and they made the same mistake we did, so I don't feel bad because he's done this before. So I feel validated now. So
Sweet.
We'll see.
Excited?
Yeah. Just, just gotta get on the road.
Yeah.
Once I get situated, I'll feel better, but right now it's up in the air. Go. Right 5. Left 5.
It was great. It was a ton of fun. Took off. We're starting to get an idea of the notes, starting to lay it down. But I did the 1-2 shift leaving the line, heavy in second gear, across some sort of like washboard section, broke the passenger axle.
Like we lost an axle already.
Heard it snap, or heard like what sounded like a delaminated tire kind of flopping around. Wow, this thing feels like pretty slow right now.
So then we're one-wheel drive. Luckily it's welded, so I just kind of stayed in it and tried to control the car that way, come into things a little too hot that looked like really soft sand so we wouldn't get stuck, and just try to get the car through the course.
Soft start. Right 6.
Yeah, you guys got a good clip of that where it's just single driver's side wheel roost, because I was just leaving it in like third or fourth on that, just letting that one tire try to propel us, and that's all we could do. It's not like you can pull over on stage to change any of that. It's gonna affect your time, it's kind of dangerous, you don't wanna be in someone else's way. So I was trying to just limp it through, get the best time we could through it.
And at the end, it was, okay, how are we gonna figure this out? Are we going to stop, change it, be late for the next stage, or try to make it through the second stage on one-wheel drive again.
Right in front of the church. Right in front of the church. Beautiful. Right over here. Pavement too, all the way. Perfect. Yep. Nailed it. All right. Not right now.
Okay. Oh, broke the inner. It's just a bounce. All right, you get the parking brake off, Kevin?
Yes.
Can you push it forward?
Yep.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All right, parking brake.
Any reason we couldn't have just done that in the air? Oh, 'cause we're on the
Right, the welded diff is the problem. And the solution. It's the only reason we fucking made it. All right, I need the bolts out of that one to put in the other axle.
On those cars, it is a 6-bolt flange on both ends, so we didn't have to pop the wheel off, no control arms to get it all out or anything. Fairly simple, just a hand tool that took a little while.
Okay. Name a couple paper towels.
Paper towels.
Don't roll.
I got one hand.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you, though.
No problem.
All right. Thanks, boys. We're gonna try.
Yep.
Continue on.
And I think we ended up only 4 minutes late to our second stage. So took the hit on that, which from that point forward, it was like, all right, keep it easy on those 1-2 shifts.
Overall, felt much nicer.
Left 5, soft. Tighten 4, caution. Over crest, very long, into left 6 over crest.
Going from one-wheel drive to two-wheel drive is a huge game changer. Coming into that, I was playing it safe, just being a lot more gentle on the car, especially in the lower gears, because that's when the torque's way higher through the axles. So first and second gear, I was very gentle on the car. Got into third, then I kind of roll into it a little bit. And once we get some speed up, you can kind of get into the power. Yeah, the car felt great. That would kind of let me learn the car a little bit more, because we haven't been able to go that fast yet.
How's the axle feeling?
2 axles is better than 1 axle, that's for sure. So that was a lot more fun. I think we passed 2 cars.
Sweet.
So now we're waiting to hit our time on the way in. We forgot all about that, and I pulled in and like went to pull in, but you're supposed to hit the time. That's part of it. So we backed out, and now we're just waiting.
All right.
So 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes.
Being a novice, we were second to last, leaving everything. We're behind the whole pack of cars that has already torn up the whole course. So all the soft sand sections are really soft after all the cars go through, and there's deep ruts. So the front bumper would shovel some sand in, pack the radiator solid, then it would start to run hot. So we're running the heat in those sections, and then on transit in between, trying to pull over, empty some water bottles at the radiator, get that cleared out. And it wasn't a big deal as long as we stayed on top of it, but something to keep in mind. And that was the only other real concern I had with the car.
Do Mike.
We hit some stuff.
Hey, I'm wondering.
That's kind of what happens. Skid plate's a little bent over here. Grab the front valence a little bit, which, you know, way she goes.
Yeah, I have a feeling not, but you know, maybe it's our lucky day.
Fixed.
Halfway through the day, we really started to get into a stride of it. It's difficult to learn, I'm sure from Kevin's end, reading all the notes, but me understanding the notes and applying them and applying them to the references I'm seeing on the course. He's calling out crests, and then as soon as I was able to identify them, I'm like, all right, I know the next turn is whatever distance he said after that. And it just kind of gives you a layout. Applying that to my driving style for that was interesting. I think we got in a pretty good stride of it halfway through the day. We were holding our own. We're starting to learn the car at speed, really be able to throw it around. It's nice.
Small crest. Right 4.
It mostly just like felt good to finish.
I've felt great about the fact that we finished, and we finished pretty well, all things considered. Just in our first rally experience, just being able to place anywhere.
Yeah,
And
where
then
did you guys place?
we ended up getting second in class, which was pretty cool. So we got third in the Atlantic Championship in our class, I guess, and then second in the Sandblast Rally. Definitely like sort of exhausted, but you gotta keep in mind we were in the car from 8:30 in the morning to 7:45 is about the time we finished, and there was only one 20-minute section of where we were out at service, a 30-minute, and then a 60-minute. And otherwise we were in the car all day, the whole day. It was a lot, especially in a race car with all your gear on, all your safety stuff. So we were pretty tired. I just want to do more of them to get more comfortable with it. That was a great eye-opener and just kind of whet my appetite for rally. And I definitely, like, as soon as, even on the way back while I was driving, I'm like, when's the next event? When can I sign up for the next one?
I'd do it again. We'll see if we can hit another one later this year.
There's some things I definitely want to modify on the car. Obviously the roof leak, that wasn't cool. I got to fix wherever water's getting in. I want to put some sort of mesh over the front so I can't fill the radiator with sand, or at least it's something I can clean out easier. A couple little issues like that. I bent a tie rod, I bent a front strut. I tried to fix those. The starter stopped working as soon as we got back. I'm sure it's jammed full of sand. I'm gonna fix that. And then figure out the axle situation, maybe a stronger trans. But, you know, I do want to keep growing the car. It doesn't need to all happen at once, but it did highlight a couple areas that will need attention. For now, it works fine. I can sign up with another event as is, and the car works great. Overall, a great, successful first test for the 944. It's going to be making it to more events, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and all that. You can follow me at Mike the Day, and we'll see you guys next time.